Get ready for the best ever Christmas with SuperValue online shopping. Handpicked with care in store and delivered to your front door. Christmas delivery slots are now open. Book your slot today at supervalue.ie. For the best ever Christmas, it's got to be SuperValue online shopping.
Be confident in the next car you buy. At Dundeal, you can find cars from over 1,000 trusted dealerships nationwide. Now you can search for cars with warranties and monthly finance options to meet your budget. Dundeal, Ireland's largest car showroom in the palm of your hand.
And it's booting up right now, so we're probably going to go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're live.
Okay.
Rick, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, we're live. So if you want to go ahead and start.
Okay.
So welcome to Charlotte's Bats with your host, Rick.
Hey, guys. How are you doing today? I hope everyone is doing well out there. We on? Hello?
Yes, you're there.
Okay. So I just want to welcome everyone to our podcast of the Charlotte Bats. My name is Rick Curti, and I'm the host of Charlotte Bats. I am the founder and CEO of the Charlotte Bats. We're trying to bring Major League Baseball to the great state of North Carolina and the great city of Charlotte. We just got some exciting news this week that Major League Soccer is coming. So MLS is coming. MLB's, I think, is right around the corner. So we're excited to see Major League Soccer, and I think this will be a good start to bring Major League Baseball to Charlotte. So we're very excited to see that. And speaking of Charlotte, the good news is that we got a new soccer team. The bad news is that our professional football team, the Carolina Panthers, stink. It has just been unraveling. It's gone from bad to worse. We recently, Panthers decided to get rid of their coach, Ron Rivera, after 9 years. He did a very good job. But I've been very critical of him for the last couple of years. And I think a lot of people are upset that they should have waited after the season instead of before the season and or during the season to fire him. And right now we look really, really bad. The rumor is that they actually interviewed Mike McCarthy to the Panthers, which I'm very excited about. He's won a Super Bowl ring, had a lot of success with the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers. He's a great coach. We knew that he'd be interviewed, and we're excited that he got interviewed for the Panthers, and I hope he comes here. We need a big name. We need a person that has won, and Charlotte has never had a championship. We've never won a championship ever. Our only championship in professional sports is the 2006 Carolina Hurricanes. And that's our only professional championship ring. We won a ton of college awards with the Duke and Tar Heels and the women's soccer team led by Mia Hamm. But we just have not won the professional. We come close with the Panthers with 2 Super Bowls, but unfortunately we've been a little short on that. But I'm very excited. I hope we get Mike McCarthy. I hope we do win a Super Bowl, and the great city of Charlotte deserves it. So a lot of excitement going on in the NFL right now. Former coordinator for the Panthers, actually, for the Buffalo Bills, actually got Coach of the Year. Did an outstanding job with Buffalo. He's taken them in 3 seasons. Two of those years, they've been going to the playoffs. The Buffalo Bills had that long drought. So I'm very, very happy for the Bills. Cowboys blew it. You know, that division, I remember growing up, was so tough. You know, with the Cowboys, the Redskins, Eagles were always in contention. Redskins, with Joe Gibbs, and that division is terrible. It is beyond mediocre. If you have an 8-8 record, you'll probably win the division, and that's pretty sad. It used to be such a powerhouse division, and I think at the last 13 years, if I'm not mistaken, they've had different winners of that division. So there's no consistency there. And I think the Eagles are in the driver's seat right now. And I'm not a Cowboy fan. I haven't been a Cowboy fan in a long time, or I've never really been a Cowboy fan, but I've always respected them. And right now they've just been mediocre for the past 20 years. And I think the number one problem for the Cowboys is Mr. Jerry Jones. He just likes to be in control. He needs to step down. He needs to just be an owner, be like Bob Kraft, and just be there, be an owner, let them do their job, stop meddling, stop telling people who to draft, what to do, stop having all these roles in there. You just need to go away. And so hopefully Jerry Jones will get that message and he'll go away. And that's what they need to do. And that's been the problem with them. Get rid of Jimmy Johnson, won you 2 Super Bowls, and they haven't been the same since. So that's how I feel about that. The Raiders will be the Las Vegas Raiders pretty soon. I lived in Las Vegas for 5 years. It's a great city. It's a lot like Charlotte. It's growing. It can support professional sports, but never got that tribe because of all the gambling. And I think what's helped Las Vegas get a professional hockey team and now a professional football team is the sports gaming. A lot of the sports, fantasy sports has helped a lot. And I think with people doing that, and they now see that they make a ton of money in gambling, and it's very, very controlled in the state of Nevada. I don't think people are as worried about games being, I guess, games would be, they were always afraid that games would be fixed. And people don't worry about that anymore. So I'm very excited for them, very excited for the Raiders. And City of Oakland, very disappointing, you guys. Your team's leaving. You could have given them a good farewell. What do? You throw trash on the field, you boo them. And, City of Oakland, don't be mad at the Raiders. Don't be mad at the owner. Do not be mad at them, because this is the fault of the city council and the mayor. They're the ones you need to be mad at. You lost your Warriors. You lost your Raiders. And now if you don't build the A's a stadium, they may be the Portland A's, or they might be the Montreal A's, or they might be the Charlotte A's. We don't know. But do not blame the Raiders. Do not blame Mark Davis. I'm from Los Angeles. I remember in '94 when the Raiders left. And it was because they wanted a new stadium in Los Angeles. They said no. Oakland said, we'll build you a stadium. They didn't get a new stadium. They just added on to the A's baseball stadium. And now that thing is such an eyesore now, where if the A's had 45,000 people at a game, which is the average of a Major League Baseball game attendance and how much people hold, it's still going to look empty. It reminds me of Municipal Stadium in Cleveland. It was just an eyesore. It was sad. And I feel bad for the A's. They should get a new stadium. Hopefully they will. I don't like to see them leave, but if they don't get a new stadium, mark my words, Portland A's. You'll be hearing that very soon. So that's what's been going on in the sports world. It's been crazy. On and on here. We've had our own craziness here in North Carolina with our Panthers not doing very well. People are just really upset with them. Greg Olson did a scathing interview. I am a huge Greg Olson fan, and it was kind of refreshing to hear him say something like that, because this team needs a wake-up call. They have been mediocre since they've entered the league. Okay, and I love the Panthers. Okay, this is tough love coming from me, but you need to wake up. The fan base needs to stop wanting to be mediocre, because the organization has been mediocre all their lives. Going to 2 Super Bowls is great, but you got to win it. Not they almost did it, or they could have done it, or they came close. No, To me, it's Super Bowl or bust. And I want the Panthers to be a great organization. I want them to be consistent. That's the number one key, because they haven't had back-to-back winning seasons ever in their history, which is wild to me. Maybe I'm a little spoiled being from Los Angeles, seeing the Lakers win championships, the Kings winning championships. I remember the Dodgers winning the World Series. So I guess I'm a little spoiled. But the Panther fan base need to wake up, stop wanting to be mediocre, stop just being happy you got a team, and please stop telling me, well, at least they're not the Cleveland Browns. And speaking of the Cleveland Browns, I made that prediction very early before the season that they would not make the playoffs. I said that Odell Beckham would be miserable there. He would last one season. I said that Baker Mayfield will have a sophomore slump because people are going to figure him out during the offseason, looking at tape. And look what we have here. They have been a huge mess. You already see Odell argue with his coach. You know, it's just a mess there. It's a mess. Baker's struggled badly. That sophomore slump came. Sort of like Dak Prescott. Great first season, second season, struggled. He's been very inconsistent and erratic. And that's what Baker Mayfield's been. The biggest mistake for the Cleveland Browns was getting rid of Greg Williams. I say getting rid of him was the biggest mistake ever, because that guy turned that organization around. They looked great in the second half after they got rid of Hugh Jackson last season. Baker looked like an all-star. They looked really good. And then people just figured, we got Odell. We can plug in some nobody as a coach. Freddie Kitchen has no clue what he's doing. He should never be a head coach. He should be a coordinator. He's doing a miserable job there. I think the way he handled the whole Myles Garrett thing, you know, taking his helmet off and hitting an opposing player with his helmet was disgusting. Wearing that shirt saying they started it. That's wrong. What Myles Garrett did was wrong. I don't care if Mason Rudolph started it. I don't care if he called him a name. I don't care what it was. You do not take off your helmet and use it as a weapon. And for Freddie Kitchens to think that's okay is wrong. But that organization is a mess. I think if Vince Lombardi came back from the dead and coached it, he would have problems with them. They're a huge mess. They're the worst franchise in sports. And I remember the Clippers in Los Angeles when Elgin Baylor was a GM. He was terrible. He's probably the worst GM we ever had. The Clippers were the worst organization ever. Now they look great because they got Jerry West. The Browns are a mess. They will always be a mess. They haven't been a good franchise since the days of Jim Brown in the early 60s and Paul Brown, the owner, God rest his soul. They are a dysfunctional mess, and not surprised where they're at. So I think Odell is gone. I hear rumors they might go to Cleveland, might go to Philadelphia. He said he's happy there, but it took him 2 weeks to come out and say he was happy after rumors said he wanted to get out of there. Jarvis Landry, if people saw that game, both him and Odell were sitting in the sidelines, and they looked so miserable, so unhappy, like, get me out of here. They'll probably be gone too. So Cleveland is Cleveland. What can you say? They got great fans, but man, they're a mess. So I'm not surprised by what's going on with them. But we'll see what happens next season. I follow them. I call Greg Williams back. Get on my hands and knees. Beg him to come. Please be the head coach. Please come back and be the head coach. They have the pieces there. They just can't put it together. If they made the playoffs, it would have been great. That would have been a big first step. But no, the fans have to come out and say, we're going to go to the Super Bowl. It was just nonsense. And I argue with so many of the Cleveland fans. And I say, you guys are not a playoff team. You're going to struggle. You have a coach who's never coached before. He's just done a horrible, horrible job. I think he has lost that team. It's obviously there is no team there. They play for themselves and themselves only. Baker needs to grow up. That's his problem. He just needs to grow up and be a leader. Stop getting upset with media. Stop, last season got mad at Hugh Jackson for I don't know what reason. I don't know what Hugh Jackson ever did to him. He was just angry all the time. But he just needs to go. I mean, he just needs to grow up. He could be a great quarterback. He just needs to grow up. Be a leader. Odell's Odell with his drama. Nothing new there. He's probably gone. So we'll see what happens with Cleveland. Again, they're going to struggle next year. I don't think they're going to make any major changes. I think they have a good team and a good nucleus, but it's just bad there. So they're going to miss the playoffs next season, and probably this next season after that. We'll see what happens with them. So that's what's been going on in the sports world out there. It's been wild. It's been crazy. I don't know how many number one seeds have lost in college basketball. I know Duke lost, and then the Tar Heels lost. Nobody wants it. Another number one went down. So we'll see what happens with college basketball. It's been crazy. Nobody wants to be the number one seed. Kentucky got absolutely embarrassed by Steve Austin. It was a Stephen F. Austin, the college. And I thought they lost to the wrestler, Steve Austin. I mean, that was a stunner. That was an absolute stunner. Nobody wants to be the number one team in college. I don't know what's going on there. It's been wild with what's been going on over there. But that's why people like college, I think, because it's so unpredictable. You think somebody's going to win it all, and they lose. So we'll see what happens. I like the Tar Heels. I'm a Tar Heel fan, but they've not looked good at all. So we'll see what happens over there. Villanova looks good, and they all look great. But right now, nobody wants to be the number one seed or the number one team there. They're getting upset every single week. So there should be some new coaching changes, I think, coming on in the NFL. My prediction is I think Pat Schumer will be gone from the Giants. Like the Browns, that was a terrible hire. Pat Schumer used to be the coach of the Cleveland Browns, didn't do much. And when I heard he got hired by the New York, I thought what a mess. That's a dumb hire. And he's just not been very good. The defense is horrific, And Eli probably shouldn't have been the quarterback. Hopefully Eli will retire this year. Maybe a team might pick him up if he still wants to play. We know that his days in New York are gone. If I was Eli, I would say, you know what? I'm going to the Hall of Fame. I won 2 rings. I beat the great Tom Brady. I'm the only quarterback that has beaten him in the Super Bowl. If it wasn't for me, the man would probably have 8 or 9, 10 rings. I'm going to the Hall of Fame with my brother, and we'll go down as probably the greatest brother quarterback tandem in history. But Eli, you've had a great career, but it's time to go, baby. We love you, but it's time to go. And we have a Duke quarterback who will be their next superstar. And he looks really good. He's done a great job. I was kind of scratching my head with Dwayne Haskins on the board, like right there. And the Giants went a different way. And he looks great so far. He looks really good. I see a lot of potential in him. And he kind of looks like Eli, too. Eli 2.0. Kind of sounds like Eli, kind of looks like Eli, and he plays a lot like Eli. I think he's more of a pocket quarterback. Eli in his early days was a little bit more, was a little bit of a scrambling quarterback, but mostly a pocket quarterback. So I think they got a good quarterback there. They just need to get a better head coach. Pat Schumer is not a good coach. He's a great coordinator. He's like Norv Turner. Great coordinators, innovative coordinators. But as head coaches, they're you know, they're okay. But he was not a good hire for New York. They needed a big name out there. We'll see who they have. Like I said, the Green Bay Packers coach, Mike McCarthy, interviewed with the Panthers. I'm sure the Giants, you know, might be interviewing Mike McCarthy when they get rid of Pat Schumer. It's just tough. It's tough. You know, before he gave you 3 or 4 years to be a head coach, and now it's maybe 2 years. You know, you just have to show something. And the Giants have been a mess. The Jets, another mess. Another terrible hire, Adam Gase. You know, he didn't, you know, he started out well in Miami, didn't go very well. They fired him. He got picked up right away. And what was crazy about that is they fired their GM and made Adam Gase the GM. They've been playing a lot better. But we'll see what happens with the Jets, you know. They haven't been good since the, you know, Joe Namath days, waving his finger, going through the tunnel, winning the Super Bowl. So we'll see what happens with the Jets. I'm not a fan of Gase, not a fan of any of them. So we'll see what happens with that. You still there?
Yeah, Rick, I'm still here. How are you? Sounds like you're going pretty well.
Good. I have a lot to say today in sports. I'm not very happy right now with sports.
That's okay. I'm sitting in Alameda County, where a lot of people are not happy with sports right now, as you well know.
I'm not. Well, the Panthers are an embarrassment right now, so I'm not happy with them.
Yeah, the 49ers sure have turned it around.
Yeah, absolutely. The 49ers look great. Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, I like him. I've always liked him. I always saw him as a star. And you got to give it to Kyle Shanahan. He's done a great job. To me, you know, McDermott got Coach of the Year from the Bills. But and I'm great with that. That's a great one. But I would have no problem if Shanahan got it. I actually thought Tomlin would get it. I think what he's done with the Steelers is sensational. They have a 4-string quarterback, and to be decimated with injuries and get rid of those two, I'm sorry to say this, idiots in Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown as those distractions. He's done a heck of a job coaching.
I will agree with you on that for sure.
Yeah, they're not going to go to the playoffs, but I mean, you lose your starting quarterback who's gone to the Hall of Fame, and Ben Roethlisberger. You know, he's still a great quarterback. I think he'll give it one more season, and then I think he'll go away and go to the Hall of Fame. But he's done a great job. You know, I have some friends who are Steelers fans, and they're not very happy. I mean, you should be very proud. They have done a really good job with what they have. Like I said about the Cleveland Browns, you know, having all that talent, and here the Steelers struggling. I mean, if they made the playoffs, to me, he's Coach of the Year. He has to be. That's just my opinion. And
I think we're going to see a lot of quarterbacks leaving in the next year or two, actually.
Yeah, I think so. I think Phillip Rivers, there's rumors that this might be his last season with the Chargers. They might want to move on from him. I think he's got 1 year left on his contract. Hey, you know, Phillip, if you're out there, I know you're from Alabama. I'm sure you want to come to the South again. North Carolina is pretty close to Alabama. We'll take you. I'll take you for a season. I'm not the biggest Phillip Rivers fan, but he's another Hall of Famer. I'll take you with the Panthers because the Panthers, you know, now they want to bring back Cam Newton again. They were getting rid of him, and I'm not the biggest Cam fan at all. The man just wants to be a celebrity. He wants people to see how he dresses, and he just doesn't really care about winning. He's got all this. He's like Flacco. They get all their money, but at least Flacco won a Super Bowl. But Cam just wants to be a celebrity. They'll probably bring him back with what's been going on with Kyle Allen and Will Greer. And poor Will Greer, he's getting massacred out here. This guy's terrible. I mean, he was just thrown in there, a no-win situation. The Panthers have given up this season. It's obvious. They were terrible, just like they were terrible against the Redskins. That's why Ron Rivera got fired. It wasn't like we were playing like the Patriots when Ron Rivera was here. Over here in Charlotte, they think Ron Rivera is Bill Walsh. Okay. And all I keep hearing is that he's a very nice man. I'm sure he's a nice man. I'm sure he's a great guy. He seems like a great guy. I've never met the man. I'm sure he's a wonderful human being, but that doesn't win Super Bowls. And that's the business that they're in, is winning consistently and being close to being a championship team and winning a Super Bowl. They had that one year. They went 15-1, but I don't know what happened to them in the Super Bowl. They have not been the same. And, if you think that Ron Rivera is such a great coach, him and Jason Garrett have almost identical records. And I don't hear anybody out there saying Jason Garrett's a great coach. Not one human being, not even Cowboy fans will say he's a great coach. They said, oh, my God, he should have been fired 3 years ago, which I agree. And they have identical records. But he's beloved here, Ron Rivera. Like I said, I'm sure he's a wonderful, wonderful man, but he's just a mediocre coach coaching a mediocre franchise. And I want to see a championship here. I know I've been tough on the Panthers. This is tough love, baby. This is tough love that I'm doing. We need to win a Super Bowl. Bring a championship to Charlotte. That's what I want to see. We deserve it. Just like Atlanta went all those years not winning a championship with the Braves. They finally won that championship. They came close to the Super Bowl. It's time for Charlotte to win a Super Bowl and to show people we are a great city that can support professional sports. We got basketball. We got a hockey team in the capital in Raleigh. Now we're getting Major League Soccer. This is a great place for professional sports. Let's win the championship. We need Mike McCarthy. We need a winning coach. He's a great coach. Let's bring him here. So hopefully Mr. Tepper, who's a new Panthers owner, will do that. And I know they interviewed him, so we'll see what happens with that. But, I think Dan Quinn's gone from the Falcons. I don't see him coming back. Like I said, I think for the Giants, their coach, he's gone, Pat Schumer. I don't see him coming back. I think everybody else is very brand new. I can tell you what owner should be fired, and that's Daniel Snyder. It's too bad they can't fire owners. It's great to be an owner. You can be a terrible owner. You still keep your job because, hey, it's your team. You're not going to fire yourself. But if there's an owner that needs to be fired, it's Dan Snyder. He is a horrific owner. I've always said he's the worst owner in sports. And then I think about the Knicks and say, I don't know, James Dolan's pretty bad too. So I'm going to say they're terrible owners, both of them. They've got historic franchises, and they have been absolutely irrelevant for the past 20 years. Daniel Snyder needs to go away. He needs to sell that team. He has no business being a sports owner. You had a great quarterback in Kirk Cousins. Took you to the playoffs, 4,000 yards, 25-plus touchdowns. And you don't want him all because Mike Shanahan drafted him. That's it. That's Kirk Cousins' fault with Daniel Snyder. Because he wanted RG3 so bad, he gave him all those draft picks when Shanahan, who was the GM and the coach, told him no, because he wanted a pocket quarterback. And Daniel Snyder pretty much said, screw you. I don't care. It's my team. And then he got Cousins, which was funny. Even the analysts and ESPN were like, this is an interesting pick. And RG3 had that great, spectacular year. And then, of course, he got injured. Never the same. And Kirk Cousins did a great job with the Redskins. I don't know what more you can ask for. And now he's doing a good job with the Vikings. Struggled last year a little bit, but he's doing really well with the Vikings. I'm a big Kirk Cousins fan. I've been a big fan of him since he was in Michigan State. So I knew he'd be a great, solid quarterback in the NFL. He's done a great job. And that's Daniel Snyder's fault for not keeping him, all because he was upset with Mike Shanahan drafting him, because that was not his guy. And it's a shame. He just did a horrible job as owner. It's really embarrassing to see the Redskins this bad. I think they got the number two pick in the draft. Of course, the Bengals have never been really a good franchise. You know, I remember the Sam Weiss days where they went to the Super Bowl against the 49ers. Almost won it. Almost beat the great Joe Montana, but Joe Montana came back and they won it. The Boomer Esiason days, they're a joke. You know, they're a joke. And Marvin Lewis, you know, he looks like Bill Walsh right now, him leaving. He was so mediocre for so many years, never winning a playoff game in the, 14, 15 years he was there. Which is wild. Most coaches would have been gone. But, you know, and I've been calling out for Marvin Lewis for a long time, but maybe they should have kept him. He had one win this season. And I think he'll be back in coaching. I really do. I would not be surprised if he's getting some head coaching. I would be surprised if the Panthers interview him. I think he proved that, you know what? I'm a good coach. I took a bad franchise and made them respectable. And I left one season. I left my first season. They had one win, and they had the number one pick in the draft. I thought Tua would be a shoo-in, but I don't even think he'll go to the first round. He's so injury prone. We'll see what happens to him. I think Jalen Hurts is going to be an outstanding quarterback in the NFL. That's someone I would look at. What that guy has done in college is amazing. To be a Heisman finalist and to take two different teams to the playoffs in college, it's never happened before. And I know Nick Saban's kicking himself right now saying, I should have kept Jalen Hurts. He's done an outstanding job. I was surprised he didn't get as many votes in the Heisman race. I was very surprised that the Heisman race was so one-sided. That was a surprise right there. That it was that one-sided. I didn't think it would be. I thought it'd be a little closer. I had the LSU quarterback winning it. It's a great quarterback. But man, it was a wipeout in the voting. So that's the exciting part about football. I love college football. I probably watch it more than I would watch an NFL game. It's exciting. And to see LSU, Ohio State, Clemson, and Oklahoma in the playoffs, people are now saying the committee got it right. I still want them to expand to 6, 8 the most, but 6 would be a good number. But they finally got it right. Those are the 4 picks over there. And I think Clemson, I like them a lot. They have the biggest chip on their shoulder right now. I have never seen a defending champion win all their games, do what you're supposed to do, and to be so unappreciated for what you've done. You're the defending champions. You have not lost a game. You had one game where you didn't play that great against North Carolina. And they have just been absolutely, like, people are talking about them like they're not that good. It was crazy to see Georgia ahead of Clemson at one time, which was baffling to me. They're still the best team. They're the reigning champions. They're undefeated. They're in the playoffs. They're still the best team. I don't care what Ohio State says. I don't care what LSU says. I don't care what Oklahoma says. Clemson is still the best team in college. And they're the one I would worry about because nobody's talking about them. And if you want a great coach that can motivate you, it's Dabo. Because he's going out there saying, we are not respected. People do not respect us. They think Ohio State's going to destroy us. They think LSU is going to destroy us. We were the reigning champions, and we're so unappreciated. And I think that rallying call is going to get them. And I think I have Clemson winning the whole thing again. And if they do win the whole thing, does that mean that Nick Saban's day and Alabama are done? Is that dynasty over with? I still think it's going to be a great team, but they got blown out in the championship game last year. LSU absolutely blew them out. I saw that whole game. I've never, ever had seen Alabama play that badly in defense. Ever. LSU, I was surprised. I thought it'd be a closer game. I thought Alabama would win. Especially in Alabama. They got absolutely exposed by LSU. So we'll see what happens there. I just have Clemson winning the whole thing. Dabo's a great coach.
Yeah, Clemson will probably take it
over
Alabama.
And I think Alabama, I think they're going to be good, but are they going to be like that powerhouse? We'll see. I don't know. We'll see what Nick Saban has. I mean, the man's so motivated to win. I mean, I've never seen a man win a championship and he's still angry. He's always angry. He's an angry guy. He's always angry. Angry about
well,
stuff.
he's got to follow in Bear Bryant's footsteps. That's a tough job to do.
It is, but I mean, he's tied with Bear Bryant. I mean, they have the most championships, and I know he wants to win that last one so he can pass Bear Bryant. He's upset. He wants to pass Bear Bryant. I think he will eventually.
Oh, he will. I'm sure.
And I mean, they already built a statue for him in Alabama. I mean, to me, his legacy is cemented, but I know it bugs him that he wants to pass Bear Bryant. And to pass a legend like Bear Bryant is amazing. I mean, those guys it's like trying to pass, Vince Lombardi in Green Bay, or it's like trying to pass Bill Walsh in San Francisco. That's just unheard of. If Nick Saban's not the greatest college coach, then it's Bear Bryant. And that's it. That's the discussion. Who is it, Nick or Bear Bryant? And I don't think there's a second. It has to be Bear or it has to be Nick Saban.
Yeah, you're exactly right about that.
Yeah, I mean, you could put Woody Hayes up there, but he's not better. Urban Meyer, he's great, but he's not better. A lot of great coaches out there, a lot of great college coaches ever. But to me, it's either who's the best. Is it Bear Bryant or is it Nick Saban? And that's the discussion. Sort of like in football, people want to say who's the best quarterback. Is it Tom Brady or is it Joe Montana? And that's it.
Yeah, I'm not a big Tom Brady fan, so.
Who is?
People from New England.
Yeah, well, it's so weird what happens with New England because there's always something going on with that organization. There's always there's always a video camera, and they're always videotaping somebody. I mean, really, you're videotaping the Bengals, and to say it was an accident and we didn't know that, and it's like they're always going to have that black cloud, and people are going to call them cheaters. And say, no, they're cheaters, they're cheaters, they're cheaters. They keeps following them around everywhere. They practice, with the whole, videotaping the Jets practice. There was rumors they were videotaping the Panthers during the Super Bowl. We don't know that for sure. That's what they say here in Charlotte, but, hey, it is what it is. They got caught again videotaping the Bengals doing a documentary and inadvertently, and I'm using that in quotes, videotape the Bengals. That's a funny part. Why would you videotape the worst team in the NFL? That's crazy.
Yeah, there's no need for that.
Yeah.
That just goes to show that they do it for every game, every time.
Yeah. They have to be, and now, they're back. And my mom is not a big football fan. She don't know nothing about football. But, I mean, she's like, oh, my God, the Patriots are back in the Super Bowl. Tom Brady won it again. Oh, I can't stand him. Oh, please go away. And I'm like, yeah, and I think people are tired of the Patriots and tired of seeing it's like, Tom, you won. How many rings do you want to win? But you know what? I love his passion because he wants to win every single year. And I keep telling the Panther fans that, look at Tom Brady. The man don't need anything else. He's got a gorgeous wife. He's got gorgeous kids. The man is probably a multi-billionaire. He's probably the greatest quarterback in the NFL, if not Joe Montana. Like it's the whole Bear Bryant, Nick Saban thing. I think Brady's better than Joe. And I'm a huge Joe Montana fan, but I have Brady, passing Joe Montana. But people say Joe never lost a Super Bowl. But yeah, I mean, he has that hunger, just like Nick Saban. Nick Saban could just, sit back, retire, and go to the Hall of Fame and be probably the greatest college coach ever. But they have that desire to win. That's what I love about those two. That they have that desire every single year. We want to win. I don't care how many rings I got. I don't care if I got 30 rings. I want to win every single year. And he's had his worst season. I think it's Tom Brady's worst season he's had. And look at them; they're still a number one seed. They're either going to go 13-3 or 4, or 12-4. 12-4 is the worst they're going to go. So if that's a decline, that's a pretty nice decline. I wish the Panthers had that kind of decline where they go 12-4 and people are like, they did okay. So I had the Patriots going to the Super Bowl. We'll see who they face, but I had them going from the beginning because as long as you got Belichick there and as long as you got Brady, they're going to be in the Super Bowl every year or they're going to be close to the Super Bowl. Ravens look great. Lamar Jackson, I said Russell Wilson would be the MVP. I had him as my MVP, but Lamar has just done a great job. I mean, I got to hand it to him. Now, my question for me, and I've been called out on this, can he do this for a long time? I say no. I think they're going to figure him out next season. I don't think he's going to be as successful next season. We've seen this type of play. I remember the Wildcat that the Dolphins did. They had Pat White there doing the Wildcat against the Patriots, and it was the newest innovative thing. Well, that didn't last very long. We saw with RG3, big flash in the pan, rookie of the year, and then he hurts his knees, never been the same. I was just talking about Baker Mayfield. Great season last year, and he's struggling this season. Dak Prescott, great first season, came out of nowhere, won the Rookie of the Year. And then he struggled the second season. He's been up and down. Will Lamar be that? Will Lamar just have a great season? And then maybe next season, maybe he'll have 2 great seasons. But is that going to be it? I don't see it lasting because the NFL is not – they're a pocket quarterback league. And, Lamar, they're either going to figure him out or he's going to run and hurt himself and might blow out his knees. I don't know. I don't see it lasting. I really don't. I love Lamar Jackson. I saw him play in Louisville. He was explosive. Sensational. Now, he has proven to me that he is a great quarterback. I think that's what makes him so different, that he really is a quarterback. Others were, like Cam Newton, for example. He was always a great running quarterback, but he's not a pocket quarterback. They're trying to make him a pocket quarterback with the Panthers, but he's not a pocket quarterback. But it looks like Lamar is a great quarterback. And obviously he can run. He's broken Michael Vick's record for most rushing yards by a quarterback. He is the MVP, no doubt. But my question is, can he repeat this next season and the season before and the season after? If he can do this next season, there's no discussion. Is he this new innovative quarterback that Harbaugh said that he is, that he's changing the game of the NFL? It'd be great. I hope so. That's why I like college football so much, because you see a lot of running quarterbacks. You see a lot of wishbone. But the NFL's a pocket quarterback league. But maybe Lamar has changed it. And I would be great if he did. That he's this new breed of quarterbacks where he's running and is actually a quarterback. So we'll see. The big test is next season. Will he do this next season? And how far will the Ravens go? I mean, he's obviously changed that team around. Joe Flacco checked out years ago when he got his Super Bowl and got that big contract. He checked out, and he's probably going to retire. I can see a desperate team maybe getting him, but I think he's done. I just think he's over it now. So we'll see what happens with Denver. They might have a good quarterback there in Locke. I don't know. He's been doing pretty good. So I think he'll be the new starting quarterback next season. Hopefully Elway got it right. He's just made some abysmal decisions as the president with quarterback. Osweiler was okay. But when he left and went other places, he was exposed. I thought Paxton Lynch was a terrible pick. I said that from the beginning. He's not going to be good. He's too tall. He throws the ball. He's too low, like Tebow. He's got that big, long-range motion. And it just wasn't that good. Great college quarterback. But in the NFL, it is completely different. It's like two different. It's literally two different leagues. And it's hard to translate college to the pros. Now, I think Elway has been getting a pass lately because he's John Elway. I think any other person would have been gone maybe a couple of years ago. But John Elway, we'll see what happens with him. But we'll see what the Broncos do. We'll see what they do. They'll get a good pick. But we'll see what they'll do. We'll see what Elway does. And maybe hopefully they got the quarterback situation taken care of. And it's so weird. Here's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and he can't get a quarterback for his own team that he's the president for. He's struggling with that. Of all people to not get the quarterback position right is John Elway. That's kind of funny to me. He's this great quarterback and just cannot get this great quarterback. Just can't find him. Flacco was a good choice. I can see why he went after Flacco, but he won't be back after throwing all his coaches under the bus and blaming them for their play calling. So I think Flacco's out of there. Flacco's probably going to retire, go to the booth, and have a long career as an analyst, or maybe he'll be a head coach one day. I don't know. You'll see. What do you think?
I'm not really sure on that opinion. I'm not too familiar with him.
Yeah. Well, he did win a Super Bowl with the Ravens. And it was crazy because he was a free agent. And then he pretty much put all his chips on the table and said, I am worth all this money. I want it. They weren't sure and went on this tear. And yeah, it was the defense pretty much did it with Ray Lewis. But he won the Super Bowl MVP, won the Super Bowl, got all his money, and then he just put it on cruise control, and that was it for him. And that's why the Ravens decided to move on, because he just wasn't getting the job done. And I said, let's give this Lamar Jackson a chance. And boy, he's been sensational. Was he like 36 touchdowns and only 6 interceptions? And I love Harbaugh's press conference. Should I say it? Not bad for a running back, huh? Which I thought was great. So, well, like I said, I want to see what Lamar does next season. They have that whole season to game plan, look at film. I think that during the Buffalo game, he did kind of struggle a little bit. And I think they kind of exposed him just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I didn't really see that game.
Yeah, they kind of he kind of had some hard time running, and they cut him off with his running. They did a pretty good job. I saw on ESPN they broke it down, and they had this really good game plan against them. And just a little bit they exposed him. We'll see. Like I said, I want to see what he does next season. That's what I want to see, what he does next season. And I hope he's like, Randall Cunningham, Michael Vick, and Frank Tarkenton rolled into one. That would be sensational. I would love to see that, because I think he's a good guy. So humble. They asked him one time, what keeps you so humble? He said, God. I mean, how can you hate the kid? He's a great guy. So I wish him well, and I hope he's the real deal. I really, really, really do. A lot of people think I'm a Lamar Jackson hater, but I'm not a hater. I just want to see what he does next season, because we've seen this before with these running quarterbacks. He reminds me a lot of RG3, and that's my biggest fear, because he's not the biggest guy, and someone's going to tackle him hard, and I just don't want him to get really hurt and mess up his career like it did with RG3. And it gets into their heads. I think that's what happened with RG3 when he got injured. It was more of a mental thing than a physical thing. I think he was so afraid to get hit again, and it just totally messed him up. And he was never the same after that. And the funny thing is, Lamar Jackson's backup quarterback is RG3. So, hey, isn't that funny how that whole thing becomes like that? So, and he's probably giving him advice too. RG3 might be saying, hey, don't be like me, man. This is what I did, But he's done, like I said, he's the MVP, no doubt. And, I was talking about Russell Wilson being the MVP, and the Seahawks, man, they kind of have laid an egg the last couple of games. I was very, very surprised last Sunday, and I was surprised this Sunday when they lost against the Cardinals, who are, to me, not a good team. I don't know what's going on with the Seahawks, and now they got decimated with injuries. They look like a Super Bowl contending team. And right now, I don't know. Look kind of a lot of injuries. They got exposed the last couple of games. It should have been the number one, right? I mean, it easily should have been the number one. So we'll see what happens with them. But Seattle, kind of a big question mark on them. So we'll see what happens with them. To me, Russell Wilson is such a sensational quarterback. And if it wasn't for Russell Wilson being on the Seahawks, they would be a 4-12 team, a 6-10 team. Pete Carroll would probably be out of there. They probably would have fired him. But because Russell Wilson is so dynamic and so great, that he's made them a Super Bowl team with all the injuries, with all the people they've lost. He has made them a great team. But right now they're struggling, and maybe they'll put it together during the playoffs. But right now they're struggling.
Yeah, they did seem that way.
Yeah. How am I doing so far?
Oh, pretty good. We got about a couple more minutes.
Okay.
And I guess we can call it a first show then.
Okay. Well, let me go with more of my rants. We have a couple more minutes left, so this is part of the segment I like to do, and it's called Rick's Rants. Okay, and I know I've been ranting all day on here about the Panthers, about everything pretty much. I'm all over the place. That's just me. So this is a segment we call Rick's Rants, where I'm gonna rant about something and rant about it some more. I've been ranting about the Browns. I've been ranting totally about the Panthers. So I think my rant would be with sports is that, sports is a business, and it's not sport. It's not a sports anymore. It's a business. It's all about making money, and I think everybody knows that. And I think one of my biggest rants is with the NFL is they need to make it more affordable for everybody. Okay. Now there's a new league coming out, and I've been talking about this league, probably obsessed with this, the XFL. Okay. That's been founded by Vince McMahon of the WWE. And a lot of people, oh yeah, this league not going to last. It's AAF was a dud. This will be a dud. I think this league will do well. One is not competing with the NFL. Their games are going to start a week after the Super Bowl. They have 8 teams. But one thing I do like about it is if you put the fans first and they make it affordable. Okay? I mean, I bought me a ticket. I'm going to Los Angeles in March, and I'm going to go see the Wildcats play. And they're going to play at Dignity Health, the home of the LA Galaxy. And that's one thing about the NFL. They just don't care about their fans. They just really don't. It's all about money. Every year the Panthers tickets go up. Every year tickets go up. Okay, they charge a fortune for parking. Here in Charlotte, they charge $50 for parking at a Panther game, which is crazy. The NFL needs to put their fans first, okay? They really do. The NFL has shown that they don't really care about their fans. Okay? They have players on their organization in their league that have been accused and have been abusing women, abusing children. And I'm not the biggest Colin Kaepernick fan at all. I don't agree with his protest, but the man's doing a peaceful protest, and he blackballed them out of the league. The NFL needs to stop being such hypocrites. And I think that's why you see leagues like the XFL coming, because they see that they're vulnerable. And even though, their ratings are still very, very high in the NFL, people are getting tired of it. I've been tired of the NFL for years. I'm tired of seeing the Patriots in the Super Bowl, but I've been tired of Roger Goodell. He is probably one of the worst commissioners in all of sports. Okay? He could clean this up if he wanted to. He just doesn't want to because he just doesn't care. The NFL just needs to see the problems that they are doing. The whole Ray Rice thing was handled poorly. We all know that. That's why he's not playing no more. Now, if Ray Rice was still a great was still a great running back, he'd still be in the league. Look at Adrian Peterson. He's still in the NFL. They need to do a better job with what they represent. To me, they look like hypocrites. They are. They need to do a better job of that. They need to make it more affordable, the games, for one thing. Put the fans first. One thing I love what the XFL is doing is that they actually have an advisory board for the fans, and they'll actually send questions and say, what would you like to see in the XFL? Would you like to see less instant replay? Less commercials? What do you want to see in the XFL? We'll do everything we can as much as possible to put the fans first. And that's something the NFL should do. They should have something like that. Ask the fans, what do you want to see? To me, the biggest problem with the NFL is the officiating. You didn't make these officials full-time instead of a part-time job. They need to have some type of better training for them, have some type of school for them, because every single year, I'm not kidding, they determine what's going on. Look at the Saints last year. That was a horrific call. They should have went to the Super Bowl. And again, the referees didn't do their job. Dak Prescott, again, the whole flipping of the coin thing, where he said he deferred it or something, and they made the opposite calling. They need to make these referees full-time. The referees should not determine the game, and they've been doing that almost every year. I hate to see what team this year gets bamboozled. Maybe the Patriots will. Or maybe the Seahawks, or maybe the 49ers. We don't know. They need to make them full-time. So that's my rant of the day. NFL, put your fans first. Get some better officiating. Get rid of the wife beaters, the child abusers in your league. Be consistent. Stop giving people different punishments. And please, do not bring back Josh Gordon. Okay, this is his sixth, seventh. I lost track of his failed drug test. If I failed a drug test at my job, I'd be gone. This guy's got 6, 7 chances. I mean, how many more chances does this guy need to get? I'm tired of hearing how talented he is. The NFL just says, you know what? We're done with you. We've given you every opportunity. And he'll probably be back. Some team will get him again. I'm surprised, the Patriots got him, and then right away the Seahawks got him. I mean, all these teams want him. That's the crazy part. That's the part I don't understand. Why do you want a player that, has issues with substance abuse? And he hasn't played. I mean, he's played very little in the last 5 years because he's always suspended. He's a talent. He's like Johnny Manziel. Great. They're talented players, but they can't stop the issues that they have. It's a waste. It's sad to see a waste of talent like Josh Gordon. But the NFL needs to we're done with you. They should have been done 3 suspensions ago. But he's still there. He'll probably come back, and some team will probably get him. That's wild to me. So that's my rant of the day. I'm Rick Curti. I'm the founder and CEO of the Charlotte Bats, and let's bring MLB to Charlotte. And this is the Charlotte Bats podcast. I want to thank everyone out there.
All right, Rick, thank you very much. And you have a great night too. And we'll see you again next week.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
You too. Bye.
When we required capital to take our international catering business to the next level, Link Finance was invaluable. The speed and simplicity of their approach to business loans is so refreshing.
Stephen O'Donoghue of the Right Catering Company is among thousands of ambitious Irish business owners who now use Linked Finance whenever they require a hassle-free loan. Our game-changing approach means easy applications, quick decisions, dedicated account managers, and business loans of up to €300,000 in just 24 hours. Unleash your ambition now at linkedfinance.com.
SuperValue online shopping delivers value to you this Christmas. Get €15 off your first online shop over €75 when you shop online at supervalue.ie this festive season. For the best ever Christmas, it's got to be SuperValue online shopping.